combining to form one department. We have the information you need to know about this change.
And the university has started random COVID testing.
Valparaiso is sitting at 36 degrees today. We did reach a high of 45. We're going to cover more on what we can expect later in the week. Snow chances are still remaining.
We have that and more. This edition of 15 News at 5 starts right now. Thank you for joining us on 15 News at 5. I'm Blake Harms.
And I'm Nick Rakowski. The communications and art departments are merging. We sent Heather Bricka to learn about the details.
Valparaiso University has seen some important changes over the last year. Now this change hits closely to VUTV's home. Important news has hit not only the communications department, but also the art department. The two will be merging this fall 2021 catalog under the CVA Communication Visual Arts. This has not been the first time that the two departments have come together. Communications and visual arts have a lot in common with each other, so the connection makes sense. We talked to Lainey Steinwart, Communications Department Head, and Amy Tomasic, Art Department Head, about what brought about this change.
Merging the two really created a much stronger digital media offering. It is still called Digital Media Arts, but it is a blend of the two with some new, really exciting classes thrown in.
The two coming together means more opportunities for both communications and fine art majors alike.
Because our offerings are diverse enough, students could major in art and minor in journalism or minor in digital media.
Now, what about the classes themselves? Locations have not been determined just yet, but will most likely be in Schnabel Hall and the VUCA as the registrar sees fit. How will this affect art and communications majors now?
So there is a better balance, giving our students opportunities.
It will not have an effect on those in the current catalog, but incoming majors next school year will be under the new CVA classification, but more opportunities will be available to majors. Overall, this change will be a positive change for both the communications and art department. Heather Bricka, reporting for VUTV, Channel 15.
Well, Valparaiso University has started COVID-19 surveillance testing. Testing will continue throughout the spring semester. The testing is in the alumni room in the Union, and the VU students are required to participate when selected. The initial phase of testing will involve all students to be tested to create a baseline for future tests. After the first week, 25% of the student community will be tested each week until Easter break. After the break, everyone will be tested again. Students will receive an email with the time and date that they will be tested. You're asked to arrive between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. on your testing date. Today, the health center updated the student body with various issues they have had with the lab. They suggest coming to the alumni room when you have time and not missing class if the line is too long.
Valparaiso University has announced the new Vice President of Student Life, Steve Janowiak. Janowiak has been working as the interim Vice President of Student Life since October 2020. He has worked in the Student Life Division of Valparaiso University since 2013 and has helped to improve student life immensely.
Well, because of the pandemic, the Polar Plunge fundraiser for Special Olympics has been changed. This year, the Special Olympics Indiana invites you to take place in their first annual Freezing for a Reason virtual Polar Plunge run. You will be able to run a 5K or 10K run on your own time to help raise money for the Special Olympic athletes. To register for this event, you can get more information as well by going to polarplungerun.com.
Well, this week's poll is out. If you could travel in time, where would you go? The past, the future, or the present has enough going on? Head on over to our Twitter page after the broadcast to cast your vote. We have 15 weather Heather Bricka in the studio. Heather, when do you think all the snow will finally melt?
You know, it might take all the way till next weekend before we really see all that snow starting to melt when we finally get a Saturday warm up. But for right now, we did reach a high of 45 degrees today, which is really great. It was nice and sunny, finally. We are now at 36 degrees, but we will be seeing that snow pop back up in our forecast this Friday evening and then back into Saturday and Sunday, but we will warm up on Saturday. So looking currently right now, we still are at 36 degrees, light winds out of the north at 10 miles per hour with some mostly clouds now. Well, right now you can see on the radar, it is pretty quiet. Current temperatures around our area, 35 in Valpo, 34 in Gary, and 38 in Chicago. Since that cold front did pass through us earlier, we are seeing those temperatures drop into the 30s. Dew points right now, we are sitting just at 28 degrees, or 26 degrees in Rockford. That's because it is not too saturated out there. Our 24-hour temperature change, we were down 2 degrees. 5 in Gary, they did hit that cold front a little bit more than us. Future temperatures, we are still staying a little bit cold, but we'll touch more on that later on.
All right, thanks, Heather. Nice to see a quieter forecast than what we had for you last week. Well, coming up, a United Airlines Boeing 777 engine fell off just minutes after takeoff.
And a landslide on the coast of Italy has caused the collapse of a cemetery. Stick with us.
While we're getting more dramatic video from Saturday's mid-air incident involving a United Airlines Boeing 777. The aircraft's right engine exploded just minutes after taking off from Denver International Airport. A driver in Broomfield, Colorado caught this video on his dash cam. You can see the plane flying at the top left of the screen. Large and small pieces of the engine rained down on cars, yards, a house, and even a soccer field. The plane was able to safely return to Denver International Airport. There were around 240 people on board. Luckily, no one in the air or on the ground was hurt. Monday, the National Transportation Safety Board investigators released their preliminary findings into what went wrong. They said the engine showed signs of metal fatigue. Investigators say the full process is expected to take more than a year, and they have not yet looked at United Airlines maintenance records. Meanwhile, United has grounded all of its Boeing 777s.
Well, a landslide on Italy's coast triggered the collapse of a cemetery, causing hundreds of coffins to fall into the sea Monday. The century-old cemetery sits on a rocky cliff near the city of Genoa. An estimated 200 coffins had fallen, of which at least 10 have been recovered. The town's mayor calling it a, quote, unimaginable catastrophe, saying the fragile area is subject to collapse and hard to predict. Authorities have since blocked the coastal area to keep the caskets from floating out to sea.
Terrible situation there. Well, meanwhile, Samantha Cristoforetti was selected as an ESA astronaut in 2009 and describes her job as a dream come true. She is the European Space Agency's only female astronaut and has the distinction of being the first Italian woman in space. Samantha also holds the record for the longest uninterrupted space flight by a European astronaut at 199 days and 16 hours. She talked to CNN about what the agency looks for in new astronauts.
The basic qualifications are actually quite generic. You need to have a degree in a STEM subject or in medicine or be a test pilot. You need to have 3 years of some kind of professional experience. But then we are really looking for all-rounders, like people who are eager to learn, who do not necessarily excel in one thing. They don't need to be the best person in this one thing, but they kind of need to be able to master a number of different skills, from mechanical skills to outreach to operating complex machines to performing experiments to working out to keeping yourself fit. And who are we looking for? Definitely we are hoping this time for a more diverse pool of applicants. So we are specifically really also reaching out to women. In back in my selection, women were only 16%, I believe, of the pool of applicants. And I think this time there's a lot more skilled and tough and confident young women out there who will apply.
Coming up after the break, Heather Bricka will have your full forecast.
And we'll take a look at this past week's Valpo and national sports. Stick with us.
We finally got a sunny day today. It's calmed down as far as snowfall goes, finally, but that snow will pop back up in our forecast this Friday evening. Now, Saturday, we are going to see that warm up with that high moving into our system, but for right now, current temperatures 35 in Valpo, 34 in Gary, and 38 in Chicago. Those temperatures will be dropping a little bit lower than in the mid-30s this evening. Now, radar is pretty quiet today. Really nothing going on. As far as the rest of the United States, we do have some things going on. Rapid City and Denver. You can see that cold front that passed through is sitting over Cincinnati, causing some rainfall for them. But for us, it's really not affecting our weather at all. We do have some light winds, 6 miles per hour, 3 in Rockford, and really calm in Peoria because that front has passed. Now, future temperatures as far as the rest of this week goes, we will see it drop down to 26 in Valpo this Thursday morning, 25 in Gary, 25 in Chicago. Now, going to Friday morning, we are going to still see those cold temperatures stay in the mid to upper 20s. And by Friday afternoon and evening, we aren't going to really get much warmer than that, sitting at 33 here in Valpo. Now, Saturday, we are going to see that high roll into our system, which might make our temperatures go closer to around 40, but we're really not going to see a whole lot there. Now, future radar, we are going to see some clouds come into our area on Thursday. They will move out of the area by this weekend, which really means we're going to see more sun, which is really nice. And by Friday, the clouds will be totally gone out of the area. And as far as this 7-day forecast goes, we're really not going to see that snow and rain mix come back into the area. As far as that goes, we might see it a little bit for like a 2-hour range on Friday with a high of 43. It could really just turn more into rain, but it definitely depends on how low those temperatures will get. Sunday, rain snow mix as well, because we are going to hit a high of 48. And on Tuesday, rain snow mix possible again, but we will finally see a lot more snow. Less snow, more sun, which is really nice. Back to you guys.
Combo. You know, March is what, Monday now? So, you know, it's about that time. Finally start warming up a little bit. Yeah, no kidding. It's been a long time coming. Well, thank you, Heather. After the break, we'll have a recap of this past week's sports.
This week in Valpo Sports, we start with volleyball, starting with a game against the 13th ranked Notre Dame on Thursday. Valpo looked strong to start by taking the first 2 out of 3 sets. However, Notre Dame would come back in the last 2 sets to win 3-2. Valpo would head to Illinois State for 2 games on Sunday and Monday. In the first matchup, Valpo was tied after the second set and would go on to lose 3-1. On Monday, they looked to rebound from the loss the day before. After going down 2-1 in sets, Valpo made a strong comeback in the final 2 sets to win 3-2. This was Valpo's first win over Illinois State since joining the Missouri Valley Conference. Baseball had their opening day in Alabama this weekend with 2 games at UAB. In the first game, Valpo would go up 4-1 after the second inning. Excellent relief pitching by Ryan Mintz for 6 innings would prove to be too much for UAB, as Valpo went on to win by a score of 8-2. The second game of the weekend saw Valpo go dry with run scoring. As they out-hit UAB 8-7, Valpo would fall, though, by a score of 8-2. Men's golf had their first tournament of the spring season this weekend in Savannah, Georgia. Freshman Mason Bond would lead the way on the first day with a 1-under-71 as Valpo finished the day in 8th out of 16. Valpo looked to improve the following day, but would stay in the mid-pack with Garrett Willis carding a 1-under-71 as Valpo would finish 8th in the tournament. Men's basketball was in action twice this past week with 2 games at Southern Illinois. In the first matchup of the week, Valpo would be down at halftime by a score of 39-34. Southern Illinois held on to a lead for most of the second half, but Valpo's defense would not allow a single point in the final 3 minutes and 39 seconds to win 66-65. Valpo would be unlucky in the second game on Monday. Even after a late comeback push to come within a couple of points, Southern Illinois would hold on to win 67-64. And now we have breaking news out of LA County Sheriff's on Tuesday afternoon as star golfer Tiger Woods was involved in a serious car accident Tuesday morning. Woods was involved in a single car rollover accident, and the vehicle he was driving suffered major damage. Woods was pulled from the car by firefighters and immediately taken to a nearby hospital. First responders were able to communicate with Woods, and he was coherent. Injuries reported are multiple leg injuries, and he was taken into surgery Tuesday. This comes Woods had back surgery just over a month ago and was expecting to make a comeback to golf right before the Masters. And I will say he did get plates put into his ankle and screws into his ankle, and then he has fractures on his tibia and fibia, and he has rods put in there. So Who knows how long he'll be back if he ever comes back, but
Well, it was certainly relieving news to hear that they weren't life-threatening.
yeah, it was very relieving news. I was
A lot of people were holding their breath.
I was on edge all yesterday, and he's looking for that 83rd win to break Sam Snead's record. So I hope he can come back and break that record.
Yeah, we'll have to see. All right, thanks, Nick. After the break, Heather will have a final look at your weather.
We finally are getting that snow out of the area and sun is finally coming in, and we are going to see highs up all the way into the 50s on this weekend. So it will be nice to see that sun, less clouds, less precip, which is really nice. Nice change from what we've really had.
Yeah, I was going to say, the snow's melting a lot faster than I thought it would.
Yes, and it's also not totally messy like I thought it was going to be, too.
Yeah, no, it's
like
nice.
it's evaporating pretty fast.
Yep, nice when you can get some melting without rainfall.
Yes.
But at any rate, thanks, Heather. I have a question for you, actually. This one came in from a viewer. Do you think spring has sprung? Pun intended.
I don't think so. I really don't think we can really call it spring until maybe March, when we're finally getting more sun and like things start turning more green.
What do you think?
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be in the 50s this weekend. It looks like it's going to last for a little bit longer.
It's
so
still going to be like lows in the 20s though, mid-20s.
that's spring
cold.
weather in my book. I've been wearing shorts since
I mean, at least it's
freshman
not
year.
0, but
What's that saying about March in like a lion, out like a lamb? Isn't that what they're saying?
Yes.
So maybe if it's flip-flop, in like a lamb, out like a lion, maybe the end of March. Maybe we're not quite done yet.
maybe.
No,
We'll see.
I hope we're
You
done.
heard it here first.
We've had too much snow this semester. Well, if you have a question for us, send it our way on Facebook or Twitter, and we might just answer it. You can send screenshots of forums, questions you've been asked, or questions that you have yourself.
Got a lot of great wisdom to share, so get those questions in. Well, thank you from all of us at VUTV for watching, and we'll see you next Thursday on 15 News.